Monday and Wednesday host. We've got a jam-packed show coming up with some information on WC Nouns, talks about working in civilian conservation corps, and Andrew reports on USM Freshman Council. Don't go anywhere because Megan and Ivy Mallory will be here later with something you don't want to miss.
Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mississippi Beverages. Mississippi Beverages provides water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mississippi Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mississippi Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online. Sponsorship comes from American Graphics. Located at 8 Commercial Warehouse Drive in Hattiesburg, American Graphics provides custom screen printing and embroidery. They can be reached by phone at 601-602-2277, and the website is goamericangraphics.com. American Graphics, printing at its finest.
Welcome back to Southern Miss Today. Let's kick things off with some on-campus news. Jennifer Payne Leadership Scholarship Endowment established to support Joe Paul Leadership Scholars. Southern Miss Professor awarded prestigious Bennett Endowed Professorship. Southern Miss Alum Association announces 2025 Hall of Fame inductees. Southern Miss dedicates new Osher Lifelong Learning Institute space at Gulf Park and marks 10th anniversary. In Hattiesburg news, pedal man pleads guilty in fatal crash that killed 3 teens. Laurel man sentenced to 18 years after Ellisville drive-by shooting. Nothing to do with the event. Glendale Church says parking lot issues and 34-year agreement of North Forest VFD's haunted forest. In Mississippi news, 3 rescued sea turtles released in Mississippi South. Coast doctor charged with indecent behavior with juvenile. No profession or title is above the law. Trial pushed back for suspect. Trial pushed back for suspect in Ole Miss student's murder. In national news, a deadly Gen Z protest in Nepal was sparked by a social media ban, but the anger goes beyond blocked apps. Veteran firefighter killed while trying to rescue colleagues from warehouse fire. Deadly Chagas disease or kissing bug disease is increasing in the U.S. Cases of Chagas disease says. Mom accused of failing to protect son who died from blunt force trauma by an alligator drowning, police says. Saints safety Julian Blackmon has a shoulder injury that could end his season. All right, here's your pop culture scoop. InStyle just unveiled its 2025 breakthrough list, spotlighting 26 rising stars redefining music, film, and fashion. Comedian Nikki Glaser made headlines on Today's, joking that Parker Posey needs to return to the White Lotus season 4 in France. And the MTV VMAs are still the talk of the week. Sabrina Carpenter's emotional performance and Busta Rhymes' tribute are topping the highlight reel. That's your pop culture scoop. And before we wrap things up, here's a little inspiration to take with you today. You know you're in love when you can't fall asleep because reality is finally better than your dreams. Dr. Seuss. That was our news update for today. You're tuned into Southern Miss Radio. We'll be back in just a minute with sports and weather, but first, a quick word from our sponsor.
Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mississippi Beverages. Mississippi Beverages provides water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mississippi Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mississippi Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online. Sponsorship comes from Signature Magazine, the Pine Belt's original Seen and Be Seen magazine. Since 2006, Signature has been the Hub City source for arts, music, fashion, food, and more. Signature Magazine is published monthly and available at more than 200 locations throughout the Pine Belt. Signature is also available with the free Hub City Spokes app for Apple and Android phones. Signature Magazine, the Pine Belt's Seen and Be Seen magazine.
All right, Golden Eagles, here's your Southern Miss sports scoop. The football team opened the season with a tough 34-17 loss to Mississippi State. But just a week later, Southern Miss bounces back in a big way, soaring past Jackson State for the first win in 364 days. Southern Miss kicks off this Saturday at 6 p.m. at home against Appalachian State. The Golden Eagles are riding a season high after a win over Jackson State and are eager to keep the momentum going in front of the home crowd. To keep up with all Golden Eagles sports activities, head over to southernmiss.com. Golden Eagles, if you're headed out, here's the weather you need to know. Today's looking mostly sunny with highs near 88 and lows around 66. Light winds and clear skies. Pretty perfect weather if you're headed outside, so stay cool and enjoy it. Up next, we have W.C. Nouns talks about working in Civilian Conservation Corps. Check it out.
This is Mississippi Moments, produced by the Center for Oral History and Cultural Heritage at the University of Southern Mississippi and supported by the Mississippi Humanities Council. I'm Bill Ellison. In 1933, W.C. Nelms graduated from Mississippi State with a degree in civil engineering. He discusses working for the Civilian Conservation Corps and how erosion devastated Mississippi farms.
Head of my department of civil engineering came by and discussed with me this new work that was being developed by the Roosevelt administration, the Civilian Conservation Corps. And they wanted people with an engineering background because they were going to do work trying to control erosion in gutters. And it's just almost impossible to visualize the kind of situation that we had. There were thousands and thousands of acres in North Mississippi where I was working, completely destroyed by gutters. And these gutters were spouting out hundreds of millions of tons of sediment every year into the streams and lakes and moving on down into the Delta area. Houses had been covered up almost to the eaves with sediment that washed out of the hills down into the Delta area. Erosion was a devastating thing at that time in that part of the country.
To learn more, subscribe to the Mississippi Moments podcast or visit cohch.org. Mississippi Moments is supported by the Mississippi Humanities Council. The humanities are for everyone.
Coming up, we have a special guest you don't want to miss. That was W.C. Nouns.
Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mr. Sippy Beverages. Mr. Sippy Beverages provides water, water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mr. Sippy Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mr. Sippy Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online.
Wake up and text. Text and eat. Text and meet up with a friend you haven't seen in forever.
Hi.
Oh, hey. Text and complain that they're on their phone the whole time. Text and listen to them complain that you're on your phone the whole time. Text and whatever. But when you get behind the wheel, give your phone to a passenger. Put it in the glove box. Just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Megan and Ivy Mallory to the show. Hey, Megan and Ivy, how are you doing today?
Good. How about you?
Living the dream. What about you?
Oh, I'm doing good. How about you?
Living the dream. Please introduce yourselves and what y'all are here to talk about.
So I'm Megan Mallory. So I am one of the sisters, and we're here to talk about our new show in Wonderland, located at the Carriage House right here in Hattiesburg, Mississippi.
And I'm Ivy Mallory. I'm the younger sister, but we're here to talk about, like Megan said, what we have started. We created the business, the Storybook Society, or also known as the Carriage House Events, and we moved here about a year ago to start it. And our parents own the Ross Mansion Bed and Breakfast in downtown Hattiesburg, and that's kind of what brought us here. And we worked for Disney for several years, but we wanted to bring a little bit of magic here to Hattiesburg, and that's what we're here to talk about.
That is awesome, and congratulations. So, what is the Storybook Society?
So the Storybook Society is basically, we want to bring immersive theatrical experiences We write our own music and stories that we create. So, like Megan mentioned, our first one is in Wonderland. It's based off of Lewis Carroll's Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, but we wrote all of the music and we wrote the original script for it and everything. And we just finished our 6th show and we have our fall season coming up. Our next one is on September 27th, but it's an immersive theatrical experience with music and lots of fun.
That is awesome, and congratulations.
Thank you.
What inspired y'all to choose In Wonderland as a show?
That's a great question. We love fairy tales and just everything whimsical. And Alice in Wonderland just kind of spoke to us for our, we're hoping this is the first of many. And so in Wonderland, we really decided to go with this because we just love the story, we love the characters, and we were inspired to write some music to go along with this original production. So that's kind of what started it. But like I said, we hope to do future productions based on stories that we have written that would be completely original. But we're really excited to share our version of In Wonderland.
I love that. Are there any specific themes you chose for this show that wouldn't be considered traditional to the story?
Well, we don't want to give away too much because we wanted some of it to be a surprise, but we wanted it to be original. So obviously the characters that you know of Alice and the Mad Hatter, they're going to be pretty much the same as what you would expect. Alice is kind of proper, the British accent. She's kind of fun and quirky. And then obviously you have the Mad Hatter that's, he's mad and crazy, but he's kind of the comedic role, and we wanted to keep that the same. But everything else is original. The story is you come to an unbirthday party. We're not retelling the story of Alice in Wonderland. We are just basing it off of the original story, and we wanted it to be immersive, and our guests coming to an unbirthday party. Alice and the Hatter are your hosts, and a bunch of fun things happen. We have some appearances from the Queen of Hearts, the Cheshire Cat, and even a little small part with the Dormouse. So there's a lot of differences, but we don't want to give away too much, but there's a lot of really fun surprises.
What was the biggest challenge with doing this show?
Oh, there's many challenges, but I would say one of the first challenges was creating our, for lack of a better word, venue or theater. So we, as Ivy mentioned, we are located on the Ross Mansion property. It's an old historical home, and there was a big carriage house in the back that we decided to convert into a small theater. So it's a very intimate experience, of course, but it was basically 4 walls, completely bare, nothing in it, cement floors, and we completely transformed it with lighting, effects, and just a lot of really cool props and things. So that was probably the first challenge, and that took us about 8 to 9 months to go through that renovation. And then I would say probably the second challenge was writing the music. Although, sitting down and writing music is not necessarily challenging, the production and recording and going through that whole process was very new to us. And so I would say those are probably the main 2 challenges, but, we overcame them, and here we are. But did I miss any, Ivy?
Going off of that, I would say during the show, the actual production, we do serve a meal as well. Yeah. So that's part of the way it's immersive, is that our guests are coming, they get to eat, they're part of an actual unbirthday party. But because the carriage house is separate from the home, trying to find a way to best serve the food and prepare it, find a place, that was definitely a challenge. And so it doesn't take away from the experience, because we want everything to be immersive. So that was probably one of our bigger challenges during the actual show. And with the size of the venue, casting, we wanted to choose a cast that was smaller because we can't fit a whole bunch of people. We can't fit a large cast in there. So we had to find creative ways that we could add other characters without them actually being in the space. So we had the voices recorded, and it's all audio, but we had to make it in a way to where it feels like they're actually in the space. Again, I don't want to give away too much, but we have some special effects to make it feel as if all those characters are in there with you. So that was probably a couple other challenges that we faced with the actual production itself.
Did you or did you pull any specific inspiration or references from the other places, such as Alice in the Wonderland books or movies?
So we based everything off of the original books. We've enjoyed many different versions, the movies that have come out about Alice in Wonderland. There's many out there, but we were very careful to stick with everything that would have been based off of Lewis Carroll's version of Alice in Wonderland. So yeah, you'll see elements pulled from there, but of course there's going to be some crossover because the movies are also based off of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we stuck with the books.
Even down to the costuming.
Yeah.
We wanted it to be more to the time period that it would have been written in. So
Yeah.
Alice and the Mad Hatter's costumes fit more along with the original stories.
Yeah.
Was there any specifics you were looking for when casting this show?
Well, you're looking at one of the cast. I play the role of Alice. This is really a family affair because we're starting a little bit smaller. Hopefully, we do plan to grow and have a larger cast. But right now, it's me as Alice, and then our dad actually plays the role of the Mad Hatter. Like I mentioned before, a lot of our characters are not physically in the space. And originally, we were going to do the same for the Mad Hatter, and it was just going to be me, Alice, hosting the unbirthday party. But honestly, like a few weeks before we were going to do like our promo show or our preview show, we decided that we would like to have another character in the space to make it feel a little bit more immersive. So we asked our dad if he would be interested. He did some theater work back in his day, and we asked him to kind of come up with the voice and the character, and he did, and it was exactly what we had envisioned for the Hatter. And so it's a family affair, but it's a lot of fun.
That is amazing. How do you think working with your family on this project has impacted the project? Has it made it a greater experience, like, if that makes sense?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's definitely made it a bigger or a better experience. We could not have done this without our family, and not just our immediate family. Like I said, my dad plays the Hatter. Couldn't do it without him. Our mom, she was very instrumental in the decorations and helping out with all of that. And, I told you it was like 8 months of transforming that carriage house. So a lot of meals that she provided and just encouragement. Our grandpa was very, we truly couldn't have done it without him. He completely did everything in the carriage house when it came to the renovation. What normally would have cost us, thousands upon thousands of dollars in labor, he did it because, we're family, which we're so appreciative. So I think it's been a wonderful bonding experience, and we just love doing it as a family. Yeah.
That is so beautiful. What do you hope for your audience to get from this performance?
Well, I think one of the main things when we first decided that we wanted to create something like this is we want people to walk away feeling like they can dream big and use their imaginations and be creative, think outside of the box, and just make them feel like they're really immersed into another world, a fairy tale world, kind of give them a way to escape reality a little bit. And I think for us, doing this show was a dream come true for us. I honestly never thought we would be here doing this, but it's always been a dream to do something like this and be able to use our musical talents and gifts. And so kind of relaying that into this story and kind of encouraging other people to dream big and push for their dreams, because you might not think it can happen, but it can.
What makes the show an immersive experience compared to other productions?
So several different things. So normally when you go into, a theater, you take a seat and you watch the show. Whereas in the carriage house, it is a much more intimate experience, as I mentioned before. It's a very small audience. The setup in there is like, you have a table in front of you, you're all facing the stage, the characters interact with the audience. It's one of those things where, you can be kind of as involved as you want. You can interact back. If you are somebody that just kind of likes to enjoy the show, that is something you could do as well. It's nothing to be
We're not
nervous
forced
about.
to interact.
Exactly. And then, of course, there's the food element. So you are served a lunch during our lunch afternoon performances. So I would say those are some of the main ways that it is immersive, and just the storyline in general. You're part of Alice and the Hatter's story in that moment. You're there with them. So, yeah, I would say that's probably
Did the show being immersive require nothing extra, such as time, effort, or funding?
yes to all three.
We definitely had to the time for sure. Writing the story and the music definitely took a lot of the time. And what made it challenging was we were writing the music and the story at the same time as we were renovating the carriage house. So that definitely was another challenge. It took a lot of time to renovate the space, but it also took a lot of time and attention to write the story and the music, because we wanted everything to be quality and not just kind of thrown together. And so there was a lot of effort and time put into both the renovation of the carriage house and the music and the show itself.
And making sure the theater had all the features needed to have that feeling that we were trying to get across. Again, that's hard to do. It's one thing if the story had already been written, but we were trying to make sure we were including everything. And so...
Like making sure the set design matched what the story included in the music and everything. So just all down to the finest details and the smallest details. It definitely required a lot of effort and time on that part.
Exactly.
What has y'all's favorite part of the process, or what has y'all's favorite part of the process been?
Good question.
That is a great question.
It's hard to choose one, and it might be different for each of us. But for me, it was writing the music. We've always loved music and grew up going to musicals and things like that. And so writing the music was really a fun process. And we had written stuff before, but not to this level. And so getting to just write something completely original was really fun. I enjoyed that. I don't know, Megan, if you had a different...
I feel very similar. The music was definitely very rewarding. And I would also say, now that we've done this show a few times, to see people's reactions to it has been very rewarding as well. The smiles on the faces and just the overall excitement and anticipation that people feel. And we're just so glad that it's been so well received, and that something, we work so hard to create has we did what we set out to do, and that feels extremely wonderful.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Of course. If people are interested in getting involved, how would they do that?
So we are a small business, and as I mentioned, we don't unfortunately have a way we're not casting anybody from the outside right now. Again, in the future, we'd love to be able to do something like that. But right now, I wouldn't say necessarily getting involved, but to attend our shows, I highly recommend booking a ticket this fall. It's great for all ages. We've had, 3 to 90, and it seems to just resonate with all ages. So I would say definitely book your tickets, and again, hopefully in the future we'll be able to offer something.
That is the goal.
Yeah.
Where can our viewers book these tickets? On a website?
Yes.
Okay.
So www.thestorybooksociety.com. And so, yes, all tickets can be booked through there. We also have our Facebook page, our Instagram, and TikTok that all links back to our website.
And my last question is, do y'all have any advice for anyone interested in starting their own business, own project, dream?
I would say that I wasn't aware of how much work went into starting your own business. But I think just being prepared for that, but it is really rewarding at the end. It's a lot of work to do it. And I think just making connections with people to kind of help you start that business, and not doing it alone would be my recommendation. Having each other was really helpful for sure, because we were able to, whenever somebody was stressed about one thing, we were helped each other figure it out. So it's good doing it as a partnership or with more than just yourself.
And as somebody that I'll set many goals for myself, and then, you kind of feel scattered and don't know where to start. But I think it's important, and that's something I learned along the way, is of setting like a realistic goals for yourself to get to the point where you feel like you can achieve what you set out to do. Because there were definitely moments where it was like, oh, we could do this, and a lot of different avenues, and all of them are great ideas, but definitely focusing on the things that you can do. And, it's always good to set future goals, but setting up those realistic
Have a plan in
expectations.
place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Megan and Ivy Mallory, for joining us today and sharing your voice with our Eagles. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Coming up, we have a news wrap from Andrew. We got a news wrap from Andrew. Reports on USM Freshman Council.
The Southern Miss Student Government Association recently opened applications for the 2025-2026 school year Freshman Council. Designed to introduce Golden Eagle freshmen to SGA, the council also gives freshmen an insight in how things around campus are run. SGA President Leah Johnson says she is an example of what the Freshman Council can produce, and also expands on why students should apply to join this council.
But the Freshman Council is specifically an advocacy board and an avenue for freshmen to advocate for the concerns of freshmen. The reason we're kind of retooling the program is because I'm very aware that the needs of freshmen are different sometimes than the needs of upperclassmen students.
Not only do Freshman Council members learn about the roles of student government, but they also host many events around campus, such as Homecoming and Freshman Fest, a whole week dedicated to Golden Eagle freshmen. President Johnson says the Freshman Council for the 2025 and 2026 school year will be announced by September 19th. For Southern Miss Student Media, I'm Andrew Borelli.
Thanks for listening to Southern Miss Today on Southern Miss Radio. Big thanks to Seb, our audio engineer, Carl, our assistant producer, and Meadow, our video producer, for keeping this bird flying. A special thank you to our program director, Adeline Fields, our general manager, Dr. Martin. We appreciate everything you do. I'm Sam Romeo, signing off. Don't just get through the day, make it count. Keep shining, be someone.
Sponsorship comes from Southern Beverage, your local Michelob Ultra distributor.